What's up, everybody? I got to see Megalopolis a couple days early, and this is going to be my non-spoiler review. My full review with the spoilers will be out Thursday or Friday. It's going to depend with the movie. Now let's get into the mind of Francis Ford Coppola. Kicking things off here, I've only got one negative really for the movie as I enjoyed it pretty much all throughout, and even this is like a half negative as you see a little bit later when I get to the pros section. Anyway, there were a couple cast members who, either didn't want to be there or didn't get the roles to live up to their stature, and Natalie Emmanuel was the first one who seemed to get more comfortable with her role and in this world as the movie went on. She's kind of an outlier here, but it was a rough start for her, and she kind of drags the movie down just a bit in that first half, or the first act rather, before her character Julia steps it up. Then she finishes strong for the rest, so she kind of balances out. Another one who just didn't fit into the movie though was Jason Schwartzman. Although it kind of came across like on his side, maybe he didn't care all that much about being there, at least to me. Then the one who I thought didn't fit this story was Lawrence Fishburne, but like his physical form, unfortunately, as I felt he should have just been the narrator of this movie because, again, his physical presence wasn't really felt, at least to me, throughout this movie, and not to mention his narrations were just better than everybody else. But that's all I've got to complain about for Megalopolis, so let's dive into my pros section. Kicking this section off is going to be a couple of the themes that hit hard in the theater. The first is that the trend is not destiny, and that was on display throughout the movie as Coppola tries to warn against making the same mistakes society has made in the past. Then there was a part of love being the greatest power, which connected to the chase for power and approval, which multiple characters suffer from, but it leads to I almost said wonderful. I'd rather say intriguing moment at the end. Then there's the cast outside of those I already mentioned, but even they weren't bad enough to like ruin the movie or anything. Just kind of felt out of place as this cast was crazy stacked. Adam Driver, Giancarlo Esposito, John Voight, and Catherine Hunter all did their things, but Aubrey Plaza was damn good in her role as Wild Platinum, which awesome name there too, as it feels like the role was maybe kind of written for her in this draft of the movie, and I think the same could almost be said for Shia LaBeouf too, who, despite my hatred for him for some of his actions over the past couple of years, he stole this movie. I mean, he was legit incredible and had me and my theater dying on multiple occasions, so I don't wanna overstep, I know, he went on the podcast with John Bernthal, and it seems like he's really, trying to be a better person, and, you gotta also separate the art from the artist. This was flat out an incredible performance. As far as the story was concerned, I thought the execution was just good, but the concept is fascinating, and that makes up for the execution not being great, at least it did for me, and again, it was still good. I think it's, coming at the right time here, but it's also going to require people, and I'm not going to go too deep on this. I hate politics, but it's going to require people to put their personal feelings towards them aside, which it's probably impossible for the sides who need to hear it the most. That leads us into our final point here to get away from that, as I absolutely loved the setting of this movie in a futuristic New York, with Madison Square Gardens being a modern coliseum, which was so damn cool. The moving statues were also incredible, but Megalopolis, it was an intriguing concept of I guess kind of what a future could look like with unrealized materials, because that's what Adam Driver's character makes all of this from, because it has Jetsons or just, your typical futuristic vibes, but the mixing of that modernized Roman elements really pushed it to the next level, in my opinion. And so that'll do it for my review of Megalopolis. It's a fun, fascinating adventure into 40 years of work from Francis Ford Coppola brought to life by an incredible cast. Let me know what you thought about the movie down in the comments below and make sure you have a great day.